Hello, once again we are back with more Mushihimesama, and this time it's a 1.5 original max run, which came together so much faster than I expected. So let's get right into it. And I'm trying something new here, just going right off of the replay. So this was a run that came at the end of the night, and I just thought, I didn't actually have much time to play today, so I didn't even really spend time practicing today. And it's after a couple days of just struggling with some not getting enough sleep and just being tired. So definitely was not expecting to have such a good run, but I had one run, got all the way to the boss, and then I had this run immediately after. I'm like, I should probably go to bed. Maybe I'll just do one more, just because. And that first run really gave me the sense of I haven't been practicing this as much as I practiced for 1.5 Maniac, but just doing a couple runs, I started to get the sense that I was like ready to just focus on doing runs and no more practicing, because I felt like I was really close. As I've done a few of these, I've kind of gotten closer, gotten a. Yeah, I'm gonna say some things that don't make any sense because of the aforementioned sleep issues. I got a better sense of when I don't need to practice anymore. I can just focus on doing runs and learn the things that you learn only by doing runs as well, like how to improvise and handle variations and handle the endurance required. So this is 1.5 Mac original, so it's kind of like original mode with more shots and faster shots. And the most interesting thing about this mode, well, first of all, I can't remember if it's like this in the other, because I didn't really use it as much, but with formation shot, you can hold A and it'll come together instead of having to hold back and then have it come together. So I don't know why, I can't remember what modes it works like that and what it doesn't, but that some of them it does that, you have to hold back, and some of them you can hold A. So I think formation's a little bit more useful in this mode, and so it's kind of a good balance between formation and trace. And I think I would generally prefer formation, but I don't want to take risks to grab it. So most of the time, unless it's a really easy grab, I'll just stick with trace. But I've had runs where I've gone one way or the other way. And you'll notice the counter on the top left. So I think it's called Kohaku counter. I think that's what they translated it as. And what you'll notice, it's about to hit 10. Okay, so when it hits 10k, the shots now get faster, and they get this little blue aura on them in addition to the green aura. So that increases this. It's interesting because this game doesn't really have a rank system like a lot of other shmups, but this mode basically does. So that is increasing basically constantly when you're in the bottom half of the screen. So if you want to be really risky, you can go to the top half of the screen, and definitely when I feel that a run is kind of like, there's not much chance, I'll start taking a lot more risk, because I feel like it's a good opportunity to practice like making things harder for yourself, and it's also just really fun. So I like to try to go up and play in the top half of the screen, and I also try to not use slowdown when that happens, but you won't see that here because the run has a chance of succeeding. So you can stay in the top half of the screen, and then it also goes down when you die, and also maybe a little when you bomb, and a lot, I think it gets cut in half or something like that when you beat a boss. So the other breakpoint is at 50k, When it gets to 50k, the shots now turn golden, which is very menacing, and they start to go very, very fast. So it's good to try. I'm not sure that I do too much to really manage it. You can also see it's just decreasing constantly while you're fighting a boss. I assume if you're going for score, you would want it to stay up. I'm not sure how it influences score, but I don't care about that right now. And you can see, I mean, most of these patterns I think are the same as 1.5 original, just a little bit faster. I'm not sure if there's any huge differences. It's been a while since I played that mode. I always try to hang out in the corner so I can avoid picking up amber, because I think that also increases the score. But yeah, usually I reach this state a little bit below 10k, and these guys, I always practice them at 10k or higher. So I always get thrown off if they're not at that rank. Thankfully, I managed to get through here, I think, without getting hit. That's probably one of the toughest sections in the game. Or not in the run. That is one of the deceptively hard sections of this stage, of which there are quite a few, which are mostly simplified thanks to another shmup player who is way more advanced than me, but I've learned a lot from watching their videos. They're this RG. I don't know how they say their name, but this RG, this erg, I don't know. He has a no miss no bomb run of this mode, which is crazy. Especially because that means that the rank isn't going down from dying like it is in mine. So by the end, it's past 50k. So he has to fight the boss at maxed rank, which is, it's quite crazy. Anyway, he had a really great run for this mode, so. I tried to follow that a really great route for this stage, so I tried to follow that. I always seem to use Chinopolis the videos as well for routing. So just citing my sources, I guess. And yeah, especially this section is where the routing really starts to be obvious, to be really useful compared to when I first played through this. I was going to upload a credit feed video of this, but I just kind of never really put up the energy for it. Also, I mean, I don't have a controller cam. You can see that's another thing. It's so much energy to set up and get the camera positioned and everything, and I just kind of, sometimes I don't feel like I need those barriers to playing. And I wasn't even recording this. I'm starting to rely a little bit more on the replay system, so that's where we're using it right now. So far I haven't had any desyncs. I think the trick is to not restart. Always go back to the title screen. Yeah, this section especially, with 3 black moths that show up, really having an idea of which direction you're going to stream in to be able to take them out is what makes this so much easier. And you can see the few restreams that I had to do, but they're pretty easy because of the routing. Same with that early eye section. That always used to give me trouble. I'm sure I'd have more trouble if it was Maniac, but I've started to get a lot more consistent at that. Like, not sticking so stubbornly to a very specific pattern and being a little more flexible with the routing, like having a more general sense of how to get through something. That's been helpful for sections like that section, the one where you're in the spine and the eyes are shooting. So yeah, I actually managed to pick up formation here. It just turned out that way. I don't go out of my way for this power up because that's how I die. They were just Streaming to the right here, hoping to take out both of those black moths. And a little bit of a tricky micro dodge there that I usually don't have to do that, but glad that it went well. And this section's gotten very consistent too. The practicing that I did do, every time that I set out to practice this, I pretty much ran through stage 3 like 5 times, and then I went straight to the boss. Just practiced the boss over and over. Basically just credit feeding at the boss, because honestly, I didn't feel like he's one of those. Oh, and I probably didn't get this one. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I was disappointed, but I knew it wasn't a huge deal. Where I actually, this is just tough to practice for me, because you have to get to the very end of the stage in order to practice it. You can't play 1.5 in emulator, so no save states. And yeah, unfortunately I didn't get it, and I had 3 bombs. Oh, that's the other thing I forgot to mention. So in this mode, it has auto bomb, but it's not as friendly as you might think. When you auto bomb, it uses all your bombs. So it still gives you some incentive, and there's still some tactics in deciding when to bomb if you have more than 1 bomb. But other than that, it's just like an extra life. So that was why that was too bad that this I got so much better at, and this is just to me a sign of like my shmup growth. Is I used to think that overlaid patterns like that were basically impossible, and somehow I've started to be able to track them better. So I started to be better at. I started to be really consistent at that specific section, which is cool. I never thought it would be possible. That's how it always is. How it's been the entire time I've been playing these games is like, this is impossible, and then like, oh wow, I can actually do this, and then eventually, this is boring. So because I have formation here, I can take different route. I usually practice it with trace, because that's what I usually get here, but I've gotten here a few times with formation, and I pretty much just know to be aggressive and move around constantly. With trace, it seems like that's kind of the opposite of what you want to do. With trace, you want to kind of move slowly and not hold A, so that your options will be covering a lot of the screen as you move. But with this, because you always have a laser in front of you when you're open, you won't get trapped like you could if you were holding A with trace. So this is probably going to be my worst commentary ever uploaded, because my brain's just not fully working enough to play shmups. And this section so much easier than 1.5 Maniac, but we'll see how hard it is on 1.5 Maniac Max, which is going to be the next mode. Always grab the trace there, and pretty much going to be trace for the rest of the run. This guy's so much easier too, except for his last pattern. I can do the last pattern of 1.5 Maniac, but this one, I always am scared of that I'm going to mess it up. Okay, now this is the hardest part of stage 4, I would say. The most deaths here. Not this little initial area, but when the snakes start showing up, because there's a new, very surprising and devious thing that they do that I was dumbfounded when I first got to this section, when I was just credit feeding. Okay, that was lame. So look at, when you break the sections of the snake, it has death bullets or revenge bullets, And they're pointed right at you, it seems like, and there's a big line of two. It's not just a single bullet. So that's really nasty and completely changes the route here. And that isn't present on 1.5 original as far as I remember. Pretty sure I would remember that, but could be wrong. Very fortunate micro dodge there. Jeez. But just like with any aimed shot, the trick is tapping and moving. And unfortunately, I didn't clear the water beetle on the bottom left, so he was getting me. That's some issue I've had in a few areas in this mode, is not clearing all the popcorn enemies and them just like sniping me while I'm focused on something else. So I try to be more thorough about that. But see, I have so many lives at this point, thanks to how the other stages went, that I can absorb some of the losses here. I have some idea of a route here, but it's not a very good one. It's pretty I'm not very satisfied with the stage 4 route, but looking at the replays that I was looking at, I didn't find anything that had a route that I was like, oh, this just trivializes this stage. I was kind of hoping for that, like I did with stage 3, but it's just like, oh no, these people are just like really good at shmups, and they're just good at dodging things that are difficult for me to dodge. So, as opposed to just having a route that avoids that. Or maybe it was more I just didn't put in the time to research it. So this guy, the one who I usually skip entirely with bombs, notice I have 2 bombs here, so I'm planning when am I going to use that. Unfortunately, I destroy him and immediately use the bomb. So I destroyed him right when I thought I was going to get hit. So that was a little bit of a waste, but in an alternate universe, it was the right decision. But this guy goes a lot better on this mode. Like the 1.5 Maniac version of him, I just cannot deal with. 1.5 Maniac of this boss is like this mode's final boss in terms of difficulty, in my opinion. Depends on the rank you're at, though. Finally, the last stage. So this is also some of these stages are easier than their 1.5 Maniac counterparts. Like 1.5 Maniac versus 1.0 Original Max, or 1.5 Original Max, is in some ways easier. I think what makes it the most difficult is, like, it's definitely harder than 1.5 Original, obviously, like, it says that on the tin. But I think what really defines this mode is just how hard the last boss is. This mode is kind of like, and yes, like stage 4, that stage 4 section is also really difficult, and some areas on stage 3. But yeah, the last boss just makes this, is the scary part of, which it should be. The last boss should be scary. But yeah, that's what stood out to me in terms of difficulty. Thanks to having a lot of practice with many other modes, it transfers. Like, you're not having to learn everything from scratch. You have some idea of what to expect, what patterns there are going to be, where the enemies are going to be, and what routes and little tricks work and don't work. So, that's what's cool about playing through all the modes in kind of a progressively difficult order. Oh, and I'm playing I think this is the arranged music. I finally got sick of hearing the 1.5 music, so... and when I initially listened to the arranged music, I actually wasn't a big fan. I was like, this kind of is kind of weak, but it's really weird. It like grows in, for me, it like grew on me. This guy also This is okay. These first two patterns okay. This is the nasty one where you have to squeeze up between, and yeah, unfortunately I got hit there. It's doable. It's doable, but that's tough. What this the range mode music, it like grew on me, and I think what it is it's a little bit more reserved, and that somehow that makes it more kind of more listenable. It causes less listening fatigue, and I found myself looking forward to hearing it. I haven't had many runs of this mode and with music though, so that's another factor. But I don't know. I kind of liked. It was a completely different kind of take on the music, which was more light, so to speak. And this section also definitely a lot easier in 1.5 Maniac. Just because, yeah, some of these shots are just so much easier to dodge. The Mantis shots, especially. It just gives you more wiggle room for mistakes that you just do not get in 1.5 Maniac. But yeah, 1.5 Maniac Max is next, so we'll be right back into that stuff. Hope all of my 1.5 Maniac practice pays off. I'm sure it will. This section's, I found a cool route here. Instead of that really long and slow journey from the top left to the bottom right, I mean, it ranked up there, so I was not prepared for that. But I found you could just kind of do these fast sweeps to the left and right, and it was pretty consistent to get through that section. Well, anyway, now we have the boss. I have ranked down, so thankfully I don't have to fight him at max rank, which is how I've practiced. I did not practice at max rank because that would just be an exercise in frustration at my current skill level, and I was pretty sure that I was never going to get here. I got a lot of lives, thankfully. So that pattern's really tough. Bad miss there, and oh, I always get trapped between the two patterns here too. Almost exactly like that. I guess that's a sign I need to practice doing literally anything else, because I keep dying the same way. Never found what was the easiest spot to be in here of the screen. I tried kind of hanging out on the left, hanging out in the middle. I don't know, there's probably... If I analyzed replays more, it would probably make that clear. And then this is the worst, hardest part of this boss. Yeah. This is why I played the boss over and over again, so I could get more consistent on this. This is not something where it's like 100%. I just had a really good go at this section. You got to be constantly on the move, and what really is tough is when you have these crossing streams of that overlaid pattern. I was so excited when I got through there with... I don't think I got hit at all. That's never happened in practice. So fortunate. I figured I might have a run like that at some point. But I guess the practice paid off. I've never even gotten to this boss, like, past the first phase. until this run, so that worked out well. And there we have it. I don't have a lot to say other than what we discussed during the run. Again, this RG and Chinopolis, they're players, you're much better than me. I learned a lot from their videos of this mode. I highly recommend them if you're looking to take on this mode. I would probably not follow my routing. I don't know. Stage 3, I like that route. Stage 5 too, except for the boss. I just do not have like a super consistent strategy there. Just gotta practice. My method was just practice it over and over again and try to get more comfortable with its patterns and hope it goes well, which it finally did. So next up, as I said, 1.5 Maniac Max, and then I'll take a look at Ultra. I guess it would be 1.0 Ultra, but I always had it in my head that Ultra I'm just gonna have to come back to after I've played other games, because I feel like it's gonna be a huge leap from like 1.5 Maniac Max to 1.0 Ultra is just gonna be a huge leap. Like I should find a different game. It's gonna be more incremental. Instead of banging my head against Ultra. So we'll see where I'm at when I finally clear 1.5 Maniac Max, but that's going to do it for the video. So thank you for watching. Thanks for all the comments, suggestions, etc. And go play some shmups. See you next time.